is a lesson. So when I run into rejection, I know it's only redirection. I see the blessings right beside me. The chances of quitting are likely. I do it like I'm in my Nikes. Don't make excuses, they never excite me. Boxes, boxes, I cannot fit in the boxes. Stop it, stop it. Quitting was never an option. Exhausted, exhausted. This passion is never exhausted. And you cannot stop it. Nah, you cannot stop it.
Good morning, Knicks universe. Welcome back to another episode of the Knicks Morning Brew on this Monday, March 25th. Like always, I'm your guy Hector, hanging out with my compañeros this morning. I got my guy Mr. Phil All Caps. I got my guy Eddie Presti, and the one and only Jiggaman Porto.
Bam, bam, bam. I love when he gives me an intro like that. The hell with the rest of you. Do it again.
How you doing? Shout out to everybody that's in the chat. Shout out to all of you Knicks fans that have been following us. We are literally 40 subscribers away from 4K. So if you're watching us for the first time, if you tuned in, please hit that subscribe button. Help us get to 4K this week. Go ahead, Celcito.
So I'm gonna real quick before we start off. Big shout out to my daughter, Lana. She is 17 today. I love you, baby girl. I can't believe you're 17. We're going to cut some cake. We're going to have some fun tonight. You're going to be expensive. I know it. I raised you that way. It's okay. I love you. Happy birthday. What up, Phil? How you feeling?
I'm good, bro. Looking forward to today's episode. We had a good game the other day by the Knicks. I stayed up late for one of the first times in a while to chill with Eddie and Tony and Deej in their space last night. And I get to go to the game tonight with my guy Ben. So I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a good day. Yeah, I'm feeling good, bro. And we have a guest that I'm really excited about myself. I'll let Eddie talk before I introduce him. How you doing, Eddie?
Hanging in there, man. We'll see how the Knicks shape up tonight against Detroit. I'm actually looking forward to the matchup. I wish Mitch was back because I would have liked to have Mitch against Durant tonight. But, it is what it is. We'll see. Hopefully we could keep the winning ways going against Detroit going. So.
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, guys, I'm excited.
I'm right there with you.
Our guest is dope. I know we're going to jump in. We're not keeping backstage too long. Before we do that, obviously, we'll do our roll call real quick. But did you guys see? We got to give a round of applause to the Knicks Muse. What's up, man?
Knicks Muse, what it do?
If you guys didn't notice, there was a big madness event going on. It was all by voting, and Knicks Muse walked away with the $1,000 prize. Knicks Twitter literally showed up and showed out. If you guys haven't noticed, he's doing a $500 giveaway, giving away 500 of that prize. So go find the tweet, retweet it, show some love. If you didn't vote, though, don't retweet shit. You don't get to enjoy the benefit.
Don't be a douche. Don't be a douche.
And I can tell Al Diddy's he's ready to go, bro. You ready? Al Diddy's ready to go.
Shout out to Al Diddy. I want to shout out All Ball Fabian Perspective in the chat. Was recommended by some fan of yours. Appreciate you, All Ball. If this is your first time in the chat, welcome them to the familiar. You guys know how we already do over here. Our guy Double A is in the building. Double A, how you doing? Delano Steele Jr., the only troll in the Knicks universe that we acknowledge is our guy DSJ. Bobby Woodruff is in the building. I can't mess with DSJ early in the morning. Knicks will be 2026 NBA champion. How you doing? My guy NFE is in the building. NFE, how you doing? Felix is in the building. John Petit is in the building. Johnny Boy, how you doing, my guy? The Whiz Kid from BK, he says, I'm the Whiz Kid, and I would like to say hello to the blacks, to the whites, the red and the browns, the purples and the yellows.
You gotta do it right, bro. What was your Sugar Hill Gang moment? You should have had it, bro.
That's past my time, bro. Don't age yourself out here on these streets. Shy Powers is in the building. Shy Powers, how you doing? Just Knicks, how you doing? Phil, I'm going to throw it over to you. Introduce the guests we have today because I'm looking forward to this conversation.
So before I want to do something, all right? And this is
every time Phil says, I want to do something, I feel like it costs us money. Go ahead, Phil.
And it's off script all the time.
Yeah, all the time. I want to give our guy Hector some praise. All right.
Hey.
If you look at him right now, he is looking muy guapo. This guy has been in the gym, killing it. And every single time he comes on screen, he looks like a lesser version of the Hector of last year. And he just looks more and more dapper and more cute. And, you know, he's just going to keep on killing it. So I'm very proud of him.
Congratulations. Phil, is there a weight limit that if he hits it, he no longer does content? Like, we got to keep him somewhere.
No, I ain't got no. I ain't
you got to disappear, bro.
We're going to let
no
the
limit.
Papi Chulo vibes go. It'll help us out a little bit, you know? What I want to do is I want to intro our guest, all right? Because some of you guys might see him in some recent MSG commercials, which is really, really dope. And it's cool to see that MSG is allowing fans to not just showcase their fandom, but how their fandom intertwines with who they are as artists or as just everyday people. And so this guy, he's been doing hip hop for a long time. And if you don't know, just Google his name. You know, this guy was like 12 years old, no bass in his voice, killing people in ciphers left and right, you know, ever since he was like 12 years old.
And he always had the dopest fades too. You know what I mean? Like, he always had the dope lines in there.
There was a little bass in the voice, Phil. There was a little bass. Give my man some credit. A little bass.
You know, a little bit of bass. But now there's way more bass. Like, you listen to the 12-year-old and then you listen to it now and you're like, oh, there's that bass. And so we've watched him like grow up. If you've been in the hip hop scene, if you follow hip hop ciphers, you've seen this guy continue to just sharpen his craft, continue to do what he does. And he's been a diehard Knicks fan throughout the whole journey. So it's cool to be able to see him now being able to mesh the two. You guys know that as someone who did hip hop for years full time and then being a Knicks content creator, I still try to find ways to do that. So seeing him successful in it is beautiful to watch. So without further ado, I want to bring up Lil D, representing, killing it. What's up, my guy?
What it do, D?
Hey, what it do?
Little D.
We can't hear you. Are you muted? We can't hear you.
All right, 1 second. We just gotta
check this setting again, Lil D, for the headset.
Yeah, just check the setting real quick, bro. All right, refresh the page and come back. Refresh the page and come back in. Sorry about that, Lil D. Sorry about that, chat. We got technical difficulty. This is technology.
Well, while we're doing that, we got Al Diddy dropping $9.99 super chat. Said, get Eddie coffee, man. I need him excited for this team. But you know what? Appreciate you, Al Diddy. I'll say what he had mentioned earlier in the chat too was talking about the fact he's tired of hearing people talk about being scared about the damn Magic. Okay, he said enough of that stuff. Why are you guys scared of the Magic? I think that's a topic we obviously got to talk about because, guys, we're a game away tonight where we're going to be able to lock in and secure that 3 seed and have a good little morning tomorrow. Phil, I'll throw it to you first, and then we'll once Lil D gets up here, we'll recap that game from last. But should we be scared of the Orlando Magic in any way?
Here's the thing. We talked about this last night in Eddie, Deej, and Tony's space. I think that there is a unhealthy balance on both sides of the fandom. I think the fans who, believe that we should be scared if OG and Randle come back, that the Magic are still a threat, that I'd say no. With Julius Randle and Mitchell Robinson, OG, if one or all 3 of them come back, there's nothing to fear. But anyone who believes that without those guys, that we don't have anything to fear, have not watched the Orlando Magic play at all. And they're just watching the highlights on ESPN. Yep. Because this is a team that in a 7-game series against us without OG or Randle, they can easily take it. Because they have, not only do they have great scoring, but they have height and length. And Jalen Brunson and Dante, as great as they've been, if you have to go 7 games against this Orlando team and you have to shoot over them night in and night out and you don't have a Julius Randle or an
Phil hit the mutie.
Phil hit the mutie.
No, everybody in the mutie button today.
If you don't have OG or Randle to get the double team off Jalen Brunson, that's going to be a huge issue. That's going to be a huge scoring issue for Jalen Brunson. So we need those guys to come back. Otherwise, yes, we easily guys.
Yeah, yeah, and to piggyback off what Phil just said real quick, I'll say real quick before we bring the guest up and while Phil fixes his mic situation. But when you look at the last couple of games, right? Jalen Brunson on the road trip to end the road trip against the Denver Nuggets and even coming back home didn't have his best games. Let's be honest. But in the absence of Jalen Brunson's best games, you've seen Deuce McBride. Deuce de Leche is loose, and that's the biggest takeaway. Last game, he played all 48 minutes. You got to take your hat off and give this kid some credit. This kid went from being buried on the bench, being shipped back and forth from the NBA to the G League to being a contributor on this team. And I think the scary thing about our team, when you look at it towards the postseason, when we get back healthy, Deuce McBride is going to be one of those players that could come off of the bench and change the series and throw it in our direction or more in our favor than the opposing team. What's your thoughts, Eddie?
Look, man, when I think about the Orlando Magic, I think about trouble because they're a team that's a lot like us, okay? They get second chance rebounds. They get second chance points, okay? They play great defense. They're extremely tall, okay? They're not the best shooting team in the world, but they play a brand of basketball that's similar to us. They score in the paint and they feast in the paint. And if we don't have our guys, if we don't have Randle and we don't have OG, we are going to have major problems against Orlando. So I don't want to hear that we're going to come into Orlando and smoke them without Randle, OG, or Mitch, because anybody that's saying that does not know what the hell they're talking about. They don't know what they're talking about.
I'll give my take on this in a second, but let's make sure we got Lil D.
Yeah.
Lil D, let's try this again.
Can you hear me?
Hey,
Yes, sir.
he's in the building.
There we
What
go.
up, bro? How we feeling?
I'm good, bro. I had to switch devices because my shit was bugging.
All good. You good,
I
my
love
guy.
technology, bro.
Now that we can hear the young prince from Coney Island, my guy D, how are you feeling this morning? Shout out to the chat. For those that don't know D in the chat, D, tell them where you from and your love for this Knicks fandom.
I'm a rapper from Coney Island, Brooklyn. I'm 19 years old. I've been doing it since I'm like 10, 11. And, performed at some of New York's craziest venues, co-signed by some of hip-hop's most legendary stars. And, I grew up on the Knicks. I'm a big Knicks fan. Especially this year, man, the love has been mutual with me and then showing me love back. So, it's just everything's been good.
That's dope. So
He's
I know
like a
Phil.
young Tony.
I'm about to say, it's your dad too, right?
I don't know if you're familiar with Tony, Lil D, but you remind me so much of him, bro.
Yeah.
Let me. I want to play the video if that's cool with you, Lil D. Give people a little taste of the stuff. But guys, here's a little clip. Let's check this out real quick.
Let's do it.
Put the volume up for everybody.
I mean, I grew up on hip hop. I used to drive around the car with my dad when I was a little baby, and he would play all types of music. But hip hop was probably the one that I took to the most. And when you love something so much, you want to be a part of it, in one way, shape, or form. So I loved it so much, and I developed to a place where I was like, wow, I can really do this.
Just the city of gods, New York Knicks coming back for the dream. The drain dreams on your average team. You see the passings clean. Rebound, lock them down to the seams. Through Brooklyn and Manhattan, Bronx, Staten, and Queens. See the blue and then the orange, and you knew we come the hardest. It's the Mecca, better check up. This is you and at the garden. This is Mellow, this is Clyde, do or die. We leaving teams departed. Madison Square, where it all started. Came from the bottom, now we got the league sick, and we don't never trip, fam. All we do is expand. We go win the chip, starting 5. I'm the 6th man. Till my dying day, I'll be a diehard Knicks.
Let's go. You know that is ill, bro. Now you've done a couple of tracks, bro. So what kind of got you into wanting to do tracks literally around the Knicks?
Bro, I got sick at the beginning of this year, January 1st. I had a terrible, sore throat, bad sinus infection, and the shit, didn't stop for 14 days. So I couldn't rap. I couldn't hit the gym. I couldn't go chill with my friends, nothing. And I was literally at the crib, and all there was for me to do was watch the Knicks, to be honest. I was just in the crib watching everything Knicks. I mean, I'm a Knicks fan my whole life, but I've never been this excited because, again, I'm 19. I'm I wasn't around for Ewing, and when I was still a very little kid when Melo and Porzingis and everything, but you know, like this team really had me on some shit. It was giving me happiness and joy and motivation while I was sick and I couldn't leave the crib. So when I got better, I was like, the first thing I want to do is put together a Knicks freestyle. So that's the one that went viral on Instagram where I was like, oh, I'm an OG, like Anunoby, like that whole, the big one.
Right.
And from that, like, I just put it up, checked it back a couple hours later, and the shit went crazy. Barton Hahn played it on the radio. And then I got hit up by the people from MSG Network wanting to do that commercial. And then I got hit up I was on my way to Long Island to see a couple of my friends. And I got a call. I'm like, yo, who is this? They're like, yo, it's Wes. It's William Wesley. I was like, oh, shit, what the fuck? He's like, yo, where you at? I said, I'm in Long Island. He goes, turn the car around, come to the Garden. I got 2 seats for you. Let's talk.
That's huge.
We spoke. Nice. I just did a freestyle for them for their page coming out on Friday. It's a freestyle for Walt Frazier's birthday. So I got that coming up. And, you know, I just got reached out to by a lot of people. Me and Allen Houston might have a couple things cooking up soon. Followed me on Instagram, which was crazy. But yeah, like it's just all these new opportunities have been coming up. Knicks. I've never written so many raps about one thing.
It's funny because I got a call from a guy named Wes last week too, but it was my Uber driver, so not the same thing. I want to play the freestyle. That's cool with you, Little D, because that's the one that I know everybody, especially on Knicks Twitter as well. When this went viral, everybody saw this, and we all got behind it. So let's tear this up one real quick. Here's the freestyle.
I'm an OG like Anunoby. You know me. Blow out your candles like Randle. These other like Mitchell, I'm straight Robinson. You and vibe in my Puma Clyde. Surprise, do or die. I drop a deuce like Miles Mcbride and DiVincenzo. Homie got a bit in my prime. I'm going quitting on.
I'm an OG like Anunoby. Phil, go ahead.
Yo, no, I love it. You know, when you were talking, you know, you were talking about how you're only, you know, you're 19, but being able to be someone that's kind of watched your career for a while. You know, originally when you said that, I initially thought of that Mobb Deep line. I'm only 19, but my mind is old. You know, so you're 19, but you've experienced a lot in that short period of time. You know, and I love the M shirt that you got right there. The Jay-Z, Tupac, and Biggie. My favorite moment for you, you know, watching your career up until this point was your freestyle on Shade 45 with Static Selector, because I was a huge Static Selector fan.
Same.
So obviously, like, this is a pinnacle for you, you know, like where you're at right now. So is this for you like the best moment in your MCing career, like with the exposure that you're getting now from Madison Square Garden, and you know you've kind of developed yourself through the years, and now you have your own voice as an artist? Or is there something that kind of like rivals this moment?
I mean, listen, there's been like really great moments in my life, but they've been, you know, with my rap stuff, it's been like really great moments, and then it's just been a bunch of work and really great. Right now, because I put in so much work, you know, since the start of 2024, it's kind of just been one thing after the other. And a lot of it had to do with MSG and the Knicks. And I say that I don't know about like my best moment, but it's definitely my most comfortable that I've been. Like, I feel like everything is starting to come together, and like, I don't know. I'm trusting God, and I'm keeping my consistency and my grind. But it's definitely showing me that the hard work is paying off.
Yeah.
But I'm grateful for it. So it's definitely the most comfortable I've been.
That's awesome.
I'm gonna throw it over. I'm gonna throw it over to you, Heck. But real quick, I just want to shout out a couple people in here because I saw we had a 499 from Double A. Phil is back. So is responsible to my dog Tibbs is a freaking maniac. Pray he doesn't send him to the DL mute Eddie's ass. Young D said, Or he said, Young D Rap is our boy Eru in the building with the $5 super chat. Appreciate you. Man, everybody showing you love in the chat. Go ahead, Heck. I'll let you pick up from there.
No, I was gonna say, amazing stories, D, and you could just tell, 19 years old, just soak all this shit in, bro. Right, just enjoy the moment and soak everything in, because a lot of people that are watching us, they don't understand, as content creators or just like artists in general, you can have 3 days in a row where everything is clicking. And you got so much things you got to do. You get hit up by this, that, and people. And then you can have a dry spell for a couple of days or whatever. So it's always good that you're staying consistent. And I know for you, I want to ask you, when you go to a lot of these places and for people that never met you before and they realize you're a rapper, I know that first instinct is like, yeah, all right, this dude ain't a rapper. Because from the outside looking in, honestly, you look like a kid that works for his pop's HVAC business. Like, that literally looks like what your role is in life. But when you start spitting, the bars, they start coming out, people are going to have to respect it. So how has that been? Because, I've done music, Phil's done music, going into venues, going to perform, and people not expecting you to perform the way you perform. How can you speak on that real quick, D?
It's definitely become second nature at this point. I remember when I was a little kid and people used to come up to me in the street, it was so crazy, and I used to trip and I used to bug out. But I mean, as of lately, it's just become a thing that happens. Like, it's probably the best thing when I'm out with a girl and people come up to me or like that, because makes me
it brings it up, right? It brings it up. There's love for this thing, right?
Little D the rapper.
Bro, I was at the bar the other night and I was getting me and this girl shots, and the bartender goes, "Oh shit, you Lil D." No, bro. And I was like, bro.
Yeah, and just so everybody know, when D is at the bar, he's 21 at the bar. Okay, I'm just throwing it out there just for everybody know. He has.
We're not gonna say what bar it was. You weren't there.
When I'm at the bar, I'm 23 and I'm from New Britain, Connecticut.
That's what the ID says. Let's ride.
Lil D, I'm looking for some side work. So if you want to text me anytime you're going out with a girl, I'll just show up to that bar or restaurant and I'll just be like, yo, it's Lil D. Just make sure that it's like not the same girl that I did it to last time, so that it doesn't wear off. But I got you, bro.
Hold on. Shout out to Louisiana Knicks supporting the channel, keeping the lights on. He bought us a coffee, says salute. Let's go, Knicks. Before we transition to some Knicks talk, guys, shout out. We got over 200 people in the building rocking with us on all platforms. If you can, smack the like, hit the subscribe, come over here. We literally are 3 days away from our goal, and we need 39 more subscribers to hit that goal before Yankees opening day, Mets opening day. Guys, let's transition a little bit into game, because, I mean, again, another coach who has to come out and talk about how damn good our Knicks team is. Nets coach Ollie on the Knicks. Definitely the plans to slow down Brunson. He's their engine. But they have capable players when Brunson's not in. That's why they got the record that they got. And they got players that's out. It's a great team over there. They got a lot of great players, and they're very deep. We've been talking about it. Depth is our main factor. Even with the injuries, we get these guys back. Lil D, how did you feel after this game the other night, bro?
I was at the game. I watched the game. It was good to see that we could get a win without Brunson being at his best. You know what I mean? It made me feel a little more confident. But really, I mean, I'm just praying that we can get these guys back and healthy, because this team that we have now, I don't think we saw like this team at full health in this moment altogether that we have. It's kind of like once they're all healthy and good, I don't think, I'll take anybody, but I'm just hoping we can get there faster. I'm hoping that it can be a possibility as soon as possible. But I'm feeling a little better after this last game, knowing that, we don't need Brunson at his 100. He can have an off game here and there. And will step up to bat and, go hard and pull out the win for us.
Yeah. And it's important, right, that we already know the game plan going into any game against the New York Knicks. The opposing coach is going to want to try to stop Jalen Brunson. Yeah. When that happens, you need your other guys to step up, right? And in the absence of OG Anunoby and Julius Randle, seeing Dante DiVincenzo and Deuce McBride step up, that right there gives you a lot of confidence going into the postseason, going to the stretch run. Because with the guys that are out right now, the guys that are injured right now, D, if we went on a 4 or 5 game losing streak, us fans would be screaming for those guys to come back. And the front office and the coaching staff may want to rush them back. But the fact that we're still winning right now, we're still in the driving seat for the 4th seed right now. We're a half game out of the 3rd seed. It allows the front office and it's allowed the coaching staff to let the guys rest properly before rushing them back and risking an injury in the future. You know what I mean?
So here's what I'll say that I saw in that game. You know, first, I'm thankful that Jalen Brunson continues to perform and amaze and draw attention. You know, like, getting the recognition he deserves. However, it's also it's kind of like a catch-22 because you're getting that, but you're also pretty much the game plan for any team that goes up against us. So it's like playing my boys in Uno. My boys playing Uno or any game of cards, they're just showing all their cards to me. And I'm like, all right, I know exactly what move I could do next. Hide your cards. And they'll be like, all right, cool. They'll start to hide the cards. And then 2 plays later, they're showing their cards. And so I feel like with us, we don't have anything hidden card-wise right now. Without OG and without Randle being able to be there, our main card that we can play, everybody's seen it. Everyone's preparing for it. And come playoff time, that's going to be dangerous. That's going to be scary because you're going to have teams like, yes, we played the Brooklyn Nets the other night and we won without a good Jalen Brunson game. However, where are the Nets? The Nets are 11th. They have 26 wins and 45 losses for the year. That's a different thing than if we're going up against the Magic or the Celtics or the Bucks or even the Sixers or the Cavs. You know, it's not the same thing. Like, we can get away with that kind of stuff with a team that has 26 wins for the year. It was even closer than it should have been at some points in that game, you know, with the Brooklyn Nets. So, yes, I'm thankful for the Jalen Brunson rise. I think he's incredible, like easily the best PG in the East, maybe in the NBA, you know, him and Shea. But the concern is we don't have anything to counteract if teams double team him come playoff time. Like, we need OG or Randle back, or we are going to have a very, very, very hard uphill battle. And all these coaches are saying it. Our main thing is to stop Brunson. What are we going to do? Yes, Mcbride's been stepping up. Yes, Dante's been stepping up, but that's not going to be enough to play some of these teams in a 7-game series. So it's great, but it's also not great at the same time because coaches are letting us know, hey, we know that Jalen Brunson's your guy, and we're going to figure it out in some way.
Eddie, I'm gonna toss it over for your take, Eddie, but I love how JJ, after all that Phil just said, Phil was spitting facts, and JJ's like, I as well play Uno on my phone. I mean, you know, JJ was like, hold on, download the app, my guy. We can talk Knicks and play Uno. Eddie, go ahead. How'd you feel? I know the bottom line came out yesterday, but, you know, are you along the same lines as Phil when it comes to how this game was the other night and the planning against Brunson?
The game the other night, you know, listen, we're 24-2 against teams that are 500 and below. But when we play against teams 500 and above, we're 18-26. So that's the most telling stat I could give you. Yes, when we go against the trash-ass Nets, we're going to beat them. When we go against the Pistons tonight, we should beat them. But the problem remains is that when we face better teams, our record is 18-20. Let me confirm this. 18-26. That's a problem. That's a problem. And until we get our guys back, and we keep saying this, until we get our guys back, you know, we could compete with anybody. And I agree with that. I agree we could compete with absolutely anybody as a healthy squad. But we have 12 games left. And other than these next 3 games, after that, the schedule is not that easy. So I'm just saying we have to be very cautious, and we need our guys back, and we have to start beating teams with good records. We have to, even without our guys. It's going to be pivotal because I really think we need to get that 3 seed. We need to get that 4 seed. We need a home court advantage in the first round because our home court, we play very good on our home court. It's not like years ago. when we play bad. So that's where I'll end my take.
No, I'm right there with you, Eddie. And I'll just say this real quick also. When it comes to the Knicks and having that home court advantage, I don't think anybody on this panel is going to disagree with you. But at the same time, when the Knicks are on the road, it kind of feels like a home game because the Knicks fans show up and they show up in masses. It'd be a difference if there's no Knicks fans in the building, but when the Knicks fans are on the road, they show up. I agree with you, Eddie. We should try to get that top seed so we can secure the home court advantage in that first round. But at the same time, on the flip side, whether it's the second round or whether it's the third round, I think I'm confident that if our team is on the road and we are the road team for a series, I'm confident our fan base is going to show up and still be in that building and still give that other fans the headache that they deserve. So,
Little D, I must be going crazy, bro, because I feel like I might be the only one today, and you might join me on this and be like, I don't care what any of y'all are saying today. Okay, I don't give a shit if they double team JB because I saw 2 games. I don't know if y'all saw it where he dropped a 45. I saw double teams. I then saw a 42-point game. I saw double teams. I still see us winning games without OG, without Julius. Yes, would it be easier? But even with what we have, the way Dante has stepped up, the way iHeart has stepped up, the way Mcbride stepping up, right? Yes, I would still like, obviously, like everybody else, we'd like to see more from Bogey. We'd like to see more from Burks or period, not see much of them at all, even though Burks turned around a little bit at times, but still, you don't want to see those guys in the playoffs. I'm sorry, guys. Without them, I think we win.
Listen, we do what we're doing. Like everything you just said is facts. We do what we're doing with 3 starters out. Imagine how scary we're going to be when we get back to full strength. Tell me this, right? What other team could even play without 3 starters and still win the way that we've won?
Fact. That's what I'm talking about. My fault, D. Go ahead.
And let's keep it a buck. Like we have 3 starters out and people are stepping up to, their spot in the team and going hard. And we play good as a team. And I don't see any other team with 3 starters out winning the way that we've been, had some bumps in the road, but I mean, come on.
Yeah.
If Boston,
go ahead, Eric.
No, I was going to say my fault. So if Boston only had Jason Tatum, but they were missing Jaylen Brown and KP, will they still be the first seed in the East? I don't think so. If Milwaukee only had Giannis, but was missing Middleton and was missing Dame as well, will they still be where they're at in the East right now? I really don't think so. When you look at Cleveland, if Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, and they only had one other player out there, if they missed their started players, would they still be a top seed in the East? The New York Knicks are able to do this with Julius Randle, Mitchell Robinson, and OG Anunoby missing the last 2 months of the seasons together. My fault.
And I agree with you. I agree with you both. Like, there is no team that has faced the kind of trials that we have injury-wise and still persevered. Like, I'd say maybe Cleveland has, because Cleveland had 2 of their guys out for a good portion of the season as well. But here's the thing. The concern isn't have these guys stepped up, have they played well? The concern is, will we see health? Will we see health this season? That's the concerning part. We were talking about it last night. OG came back. I think front office Tibbs made a good decision, letting him rest longer than he needed to. But after that first game where you saw him grabbing his elbow, he should have never played that second game. And now that he did, now he's been out again. So there's concern because he had the surgery, then re-aggravated it. We're being told it's for maintenance, so hopefully that's the case. But with Randle, it seems like the date continues to get pushed further and further back. And so either that's promising that they really believe he's going to come back, 80 to 100%, or it's concerning in the fact that what if he doesn't come back? So those are the things that we have to actually realize is what is the possibility of this team executing in the playoffs if OG and Randle do not return? That's the scary thought.
Yeah, for sure. I'm just saying big picture, the overall, right? Whether we do well in the playoffs or not, the culture has changed. You know what I'm saying? Because of that. And regardless of what happens this year, because of the injuries that have happened, you know what I mean? Regardless what happens this year, we have a bright future. And when's the last time as Knicks fans we could have said that?
Facts.
Future. We might not see full health, but at least we're on the right path finally.
Oh, for sure.
Into that place.
I just want to say this. since February 1st, we're a 500 team. We're 11-11. Now, granted, what you guys said is right. Any other team with missing this many starters would probably be, win 5 games and be, 5-16, something like that, something along those lines. Again, we've seen our best brand of basketball. Our best brand of basketball was played during the month of January. That was with OG. That was with Randle. Obviously, we were missing Mitch, but we saw iHeart step up, right? Again, I just want to see this team back and fully healthy because, again, if we are fully healthy, we can compete with anybody. We can compete with the top 5 teams. We can compete with Denver. We could compete with Milwaukee. We could compete with Boston. So I'm just saying, since February 1st, we're a 500 team. Let's not get it twisted. Like, yes, we've held the fort. But before that, we were absolutely insane. The numbers were incredible after that OG trade. So it's just, we really need to get our guys back. And I'm sick of saying it. I'm sick of talking about it because it's like disheartening because we're at the point now. What's today? March 25th. And Randle and Mitch and OG are still not playing in tonight's game. So that's
sorry about that, guys. I'm back. I got a phone call. It's my daughter. Everybody say happy birthday.
Happy birthday,
Happy birthday. I'll call you back. I want you to see I was really working. All right. I love you. Goodbye.
That's my niece.
But so yeah, I missed it, but I was hearing and then I was talking and all that. Why does it that are we still on the point where I feel like everybody's still talking about when we get everybody back? Haven't we realized though we can also sit there and say if we get even just one piece back, OG, right? Like you see the difference in this team, even OG alone makes. So I feel like the narrative of we need all our guys back to have this major run in the playoffs is bullshit. If we get OG only back, that's huge. And now we know that we're that much closer to Mitch. That's huge. Mitch coming off the second unit. That's huge. So again, I think maybe I'm just trying to gear our fan base more to the stop with we need everybody back to be the dog team that we are because we've proven that even with minor pieces, when they're able to come back, we kick ass.
Yeah, and I don't think anyone here is saying like full roster. At least last night in Eddie's space, we were all talking about we need at least one of those guys back.
There we go.
Like we saw what happened. Like the problem is, as great as Dante's been and as great as McBride has been, neither of those players caused the other team to double team. They do not cause an attention drawer away from Jalen Brunson. And if a coach's whole thing is let everyone else score, as long as it's not Jalen Brunson, that's an issue because that's a negative, 20 to 30 points, if their whole scheme is just to stop him. So if we get one of those guys back, that frees up Jalen Brunson to do more Jalen Brunson style things that allows him to get more catch and shoot opportunities, which he's great at. And so and in a night like yesterday, if it was a game that was crucial and on the line, you have another scorer to pair with Dante. You have an OG, you have a Randle that can put up buckets when Jalen Brunson might have an off game. That might be, a game breaker for us in the playoffs. So one of those two guys back is important.
And Eddie, you're valid with saying that the New York Knicks were over the past 22 games, we have an 11-11 record. That's a very valid point. But our team in the month of January, we were able to build so much of a lead against the rest of the teams that are in the Eastern Conference while allowing ourselves to be able to just hold the water until the guys come back. We went from being the 3rd seed to being just a half game behind the 3rd seed in the span of those 22 games. So you're very valid with pointing up that the Knicks are 11-11, and we should improve that record, especially over the next few games when it comes to our team overall record. But somebody in the chat, they pointed it out. My guy Nelson, right? Again, the 18-26 record over 500 teams. Granted, that was when we played Boston and Milwaukee like 10 times in the first 30 games of the season, and we didn't even have OG Anunoby like more than half of those games. So yes, that's a stat that you can put under a microscope and say we should improve on that stat. But ever since the month of January, against teams that are over 500, we are literally just 5 games behind them. It's not that much of a difference than it was at the beginning of the season. Valid point. Like I said, valid critique. We should improve on that going forward, especially if we want to try to advance far in the postseason. We need to have a better record against those teams.
we need to get these guys back, though. I mean, I can't say this enough. Because if we don't, we're not beating anybody. Let's keep this above.
I'm right there with you, Eddie.
Without a healthy Randle, and you guys could trash Randle and say whatever you want about Randle, but Randle is a legit 2 option in this league. He is that good. This guy was on his way to being first All-NBA this year.
Yeah.
Okay? Without this guy, we're not beating Milwaukee. We are not beating Boston. We're not. And yes,
I'm
with
right
OG,
there with you.
With OG and Mitch, we could probably beat Orlando. We could beat Cleveland. But we're not beating those top teams. Little D, are you with me on this?
I think the record means nothing, and all that matters is the eye test, and we see how hard this team plays every single night. We go hard, we work hard. Sometimes we pull out wins that we shouldn't even have won in the circumstances that we're in. And without a healthy team, the best we can hope for is a first round win, and we, have to accept that, our players are unhealthy. But I mean, I'm praying, I'm hoping. I think that we're a serious contender if everybody gets back to being healthy. When the OG trade happened, I mean, we were winning game after game like nothing I've ever seen. I mean, again, I wasn't around for when the Knicks were at their highest moments, and even in the Melo era, I was a little kid. I went to, but I've never seen anything like this in my life. It's made me fall in love with basketball, more than I ever have. Because the team that I grew up watching and my dad grew up watching, my grandfather grew up watching, is finally doing something great. And we're a good team. We go out there, we play hard, and I'm faithful, and I'm hoping that, I mean, even in the position that we're in right now, let's say nothing gets better, that we could pull out a first round victory.
Real quick, Eddie, hold on. Let me pull this up real quick. Someone bought us a coffee and said, Lil D, through God, all is possible. You are proof. Keep him close. Always praise. That's dope right there. I want to pull this question up from myself. Switch it up a little bit. Lil D, on this Knicks team, who is your favorite person right now, not named Jalen Brunson? If you're picking your guy, who's your guy, bro?
DiVincenzo, because I'm Italian.
Yeah.
Hey, the big rag
group. Gang is in the building.
Now, second question I want to ask you, Lil D, right? And keep it a buck with us, right? Because myself, Celso, and Phil, we're Puerto Rican. But I want to ask you, as an Italian American, when you walked into your grandparents' household, what are the 3 pictures that are on the wall? Is it Jesus, Frank Sinatra, and Joe DiMaggio? What pictures did they have on the wall when you was growing up?
I'm going to be honest, right? It was all pictures of me.
Okay, all right. You know what? We'll take that. Got to shout out to the grandparents.
That my grandparents have, 3 other nieces and nephews. You know what I mean? I'm one of 4 for, the grandchildren. I'm not nieces and nephews, grandchildren. I'm tripping.
Grandchildren, yeah.
They have 4 grandchildren, including me. And, when I came around, I was the last one. And, I was my grandparents' youngest child's kid, so it's I got special treatment. So
you got the spoilty treatment. Yeah,
they give me special treatment. So I walk in the crib and it's there. There's Jesus, obviously.
Of course.
It's Jesus and me.
That's good 1-2 right there. I ain't gonna lie.
That's your next track. That's your next track.
So that's a good segue to the next one, man. Appreciate you answering that one, Lil D. Real quick, we got over 300 people rocking with us this morning. Appreciate everybody in the building. Your support is always amazing. Smash the like, hit the sub. If you're on X, buy us a coffee. Jump over to YouTube, hit the sub. You know the routine, all that good stuff. But our man Lil D said, Chenzo gang to the fullest. I want to pull this one up. Dante crediting Tibbs as he gets closer to the Knicks record. He said, that's the foundation, defense and rebounding. If you defend and you rebound, and if you do what Tibbs asks, then offensively, it's a green light. Have we not been saying this forever? If Tibbs trusts your ass, you are going to be able to do what you want to do. And we're seeing that with not only Dante. Come on, Mcbride. We haven't spent enough time talking about Mcbride's last game. Both of them stepping up the way they did. Whoo, go ahead, Lil D.
But the best is I was at the Garden and like, Deuce was hot, and every time he took a shot and it was up in the air, everybody was like, Deuce.
Yeah.
Crazy. Like it's just such a feeling. It's such an energy. Like I've never experienced it before in my life. It's a great feeling. When the Knicks are in a good place, the city's in a good place.
Lil D, let me ask you a question. This is gonna be a little off topic, but you're in the younger generation. You grew up in Brooklyn. You're a city kid. How many Nets fans do you know?
My one friend is a Nets fan, and I joke on him every single day about it. When my commercial came on, I had a bunch of my friends come to my house and watch it. And he walked in the door. I was like, if I hear the word Nets out of your mouth one time, hear it, It's, bro, come on. If you're from New York City, you're a Knicks fan. Like,
facts.
You got Yankees and Mets, and you got Jets and Giants, and even Rangers and
Islanders.
And it's very split down the middle. But if you're from New York, you're either a Knicks fan or you're like, you made a bad
basketball.
You made a bad decision, and you're gonna have to live with it. That's
So even when they got KD and Kyrie, it was still all Knicks fans for you and BK.
Shout out to my guy, Words Played.
Nah, can I tell you, everybody was trying to bandwagon because they thought that we actually had a good team in New York, and then the shit just fell apart.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there's a lot of people that, like, if you pull up receipts, they were rocking, black and white at those times. But shout out to my guy, Words Played. During that whole era when they got KD and Durant, he had a line on a song with my guy Andy Mineo, and he said, "You ain't from New York, you a Nets fan." And he pretty much revoked all Nets fans' privileges to call themselves New Yorkers. So shout out to him. And so real quick, with Deuce McBride, you said New York's a better place when the Knicks are thriving and stuff like that. This chat is also a better place when there's apologies to players who deserve it. So there are people in the chat right now that crucified me when I said that, we needed to let Mcbride cook, that I believe that once Mcbride got some minutes that he was going to be exactly what we needed off the bench. And they told me I knew nothing, that Deuce McBride was, going to fall apart, that he could have a few decent shooting games, but he can't really do this. And he's proven time and time again to continue to get better and better and better. And now he's taking better shots, like not saying he's scoring as much, but he's taking better shots. And you look at his shooting percentage than IQ was doing, way better percentage. He's playing better defense than Grimes was playing. The only thing he has to continue to develop is his playmaking skills, and that will come as he continues to play. So we've seen him get these minutes since the trade, and he's continued to blossom. So if you are a Deuce McBride hater, we will gladly accept all apologies in the chat panel right now because he deserves it. That kid is playing hard, and that kid is being a difference maker for us. Come playoff time, he's going to continue to shine, in my opinion, because he doesn't have the fear that a lot of young players have. Like, he seems to be fearless, and you have to salute that.
And I forgot who it was that asked him the question the other day, right after the game. But, I love people that ask the hard-hitting questions. I think it was Alan Hahn. How do you see when you're shooting when you have that string in your hair? Like that. That is the answers that I needed. He was like, I didn't even notice it. Go ahead, Lil D. Didn't mean to cut you off, bro.
He's playing better than I could have ever hoped for. I mean, this game with the Nets, I was there, I saw it, and he was just keeping us in the game until everybody woke up in the fourth quarter. He was really carrying the weight of the load, and I think he's really valuable for this team, and he's only going to get better. I think he's a great addition to the team. Definitely, I owe an apology too. He's better than I could have ever hoped for, and I'm glad he's on the team.
Don't feel bad. I trashed him too early on. I thought he was garbage, but he's proven me wrong, and I'm happy he's proven me wrong.
I need Alec Burks to prove me wrong.
Yeah, him and Bogey.
Alex Burks needs to prove Alex Burks wrong. Okay?
I just want
to. I was just gonna say, even though that trade has been a disaster, the one thing it's done is it's unleashed Deuce. So that's the 100%. Silver lining through that trade.
Yeah. I want a second real quick. Shout out to my guy Chop Low in the building. Uncle Chop Low. Chop, I need you to go get me a plate, bro. He says, I'm from Brooklyn, 5 minutes away from the Barclays, but I ride for that orange and blue. Absolutely. Lil D. I literally have Brooklyn tattooed on my arm, right? I went to high school right around the corner from the Barclays Center on Dean Street, Brooklyn High School of the Arts. Never in my life would you see me rocking any Nets gear or rooting for the Nets. I remember when they broke ground or when they was talking about building the Barclays. That was my senior year of high school. None of us were excited that the Nets were coming to town because we all grew up as Knicks fans. But you brought it up, you know, you're a little younger than us, 19 years old. You know, some may say you 21. But that era that you came up with Melo, right? You said you was a young kid when that came up. What steered you in the direction to become a Knicks fan instead of a Net fan? I know it's easy to say that it's always orange and blue, but what made you go that way? Was it the elders in your life? What was it, bro?
It was my dad and my grandfather. They always loved the Knicks. It was on the TV all the time whenever there was a game. There was cursing and screaming and shouting, but it was on. You know. I'm happy about the Knicks team right now. My dad is probably, you know, way more in his glory than I am, though. Because my dad's born in '65. He's been waiting for a team like this to play this way his entire life. So and then when I get to bring him with me to the games, I just met Ewing the other day and Walt Frazier.
Fire.
It was crazy, and he's like standing there in his glory, like unbelievable. I never got to see Ewing play. I know Ewing is a legend. I've seen, you know, the clips, and I know what's good. But I mean, he was there and he watched it, and he, you know, it's definitely a full circle moment, not only just for me, but probably even more for him because he was the one that showed me the Knicks and introduced to. You know.
Yeah.
So
no,
listen,
I get it, bro. Trust
guys,
me.
before we let Lil D rap, because I know we want to be respectful of his time. And Phil, I know you got a photo shoot. You got to get out of here too. Let me go ahead and pull this up real quick.
Lil D, thank you for joining us this morning. And just so you know, in the future, open door policy. Whenever you wake up and you feel like you want to talk Knicks with us lunatics, you're more than welcome to come on by, bro.
Yeah.
What Hector really meant is any of those times that Phil runs out to the bar and be like, it's Little D, and it doesn't work, you can come yell at him the next morning on our show.
Basically, that's
so
what it
two
is.
things before we let you go. One, what do you got coming up? Let people know, man. I've already dropped your link where you guys can follow Little D on Insta, on X, and all that good stuff. But what's coming up for you, bro? Spread the word.
A lot of different things, man. I've just been grinding. I got a lot of songs, you know, in the pocket, ready to drop for the spring and the summer, and that's exciting. I got some shows coming up. I'm performing in LA for the first time in August.
Nice.
Performing at this thing called Paisan Con.
Nice.
Oh, I know what that is.
On the 13th, so, you know.
Sounds like my type of place.
Through to that. My Instagram, Lil D _raps, TikTok, Lil D _raps, YouTube and Spotify and, you know, Apple Music, Lil D, LIL, DEE. Make sure to check me out and just tap in, you know, a lot more coming, a lot of big things coming. And really, honestly, I'm just trying to stay consistent out here.
Yeah, you know, we follow you on social, but let us know if there's any events in New York City. I would love to pop up and just show love, bro.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be some things coming up in the summer. Just stay tuned on my page and on my for what's coming up, because as things come up and as things get closer, they'll be posted. But definitely forward to doing some more performing coming up.
That's what's up.
Right, well, Lil D, man, we appreciate you. Go ahead, Phil.
We got some things coming up in the playoffs. I'll shoot you a message. Try to link up, do some fun stuff. Come playoff time, have you be part of it. But we appreciate you, bro. I love the grind. I love, you know, I love what you were saying, you know, like just be ready for whatever God's got for you in this season, you know. I love that. I love that humility. I love that, you know, drive. For me, it's one of those things. It's like yeah, God gives blessings, but he also wants to see your hard work. So I love seeing you put in that hard work and that effort. So keep it up, bro. I'm glad that, everyone from the Garden to, your fans are seeing the talent there. So I pray that the doors continue to stay open for you, bro. And you continue to walk through the right ones. So thank you so much for your time. And we'll talk to you soon, bro.
Go ahead and drop the fire emojis in the chat for Little D. Follow
Lil
up.
D, appreciate you.
Love, guys. I'm going to catch you later.
Yeah, you be good, Lil
bro.
D. That was a good convo right there, right?
Yeah.
It's good when you bring up and coming rappers that are actual spitters, right, Phil? As somebody who respects hip hop and understand the history of hip hop, it's great when you have some young kids, 19 years old, that has that type of style, right? It's not the drill rap. Every genre is different. Some people may have it. I may not be a fan of drill. Phil not may be a fan of drill, but it's fans that are out there. We are more old school, and Lil D reminds us of the genre and the era that we grew up with.
Yeah,
So
the best part about
MSG.
it too, Phil, I would say the best part about it too is he's 19 years old.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So
That's
not only
crazy.
the talent that he has, but the fact from a Knicks standpoint, like this is the first time he's really, at an age where he gets to experience a team that is legit, where he gets to experience that New York, oh shit, right? Last year had to be a great taste for him at 18, seeing the street be locked down, seeing us in the playoffs. So I think that's dope, man. Like, seeing my kids go through it right now, right? My son's 21, and he's like, oh, man, he has no choice but to like the Knicks, right? Because he sees his uncle, his dad, and so watching him see it too, like, wow, my son, Elijah, literally texted me the other night, Phil, and said, oh, Knicks won. I was like, you watching the game without it? Like, I was so filled with joy, but the fact to see guys 18, 19 get that taste for the first time, that is huge. Yeah. Phil, we'll let you go so you can go do what you got to do. Last words before you go, bro.
Yeah, I'm gonna be in the Garden tonight. So if you're gonna be there, please hit me up on Twitter. I'd love to link up with you guys. We're gonna do some fans on the street. Hector's gonna meet me out there before the game.
Yes, sir.
So come on out. Try to find us on the streets. We'd love to interview you guys if you guys are in the area. Once again, shout out to Lil D. MSG, take away those Ice Spice tickets. Put him in that front row. Give him that celebrity row right there. He deserves it. He's been loyal. So appreciate you guys. Love you, Eddie. Love you, Heck. See you in a little bit. Love you, bro. And
love you, bro.
Yeah, until next time, thank you to everybody in the chat. We appreciate the support as always. And I will talk to you guys later.
Later, bro.
I don't know what's up with the Ice Spice hate, shout out to ISIS. Shout out to ISIS,
Here we go. All right, let's get a little bit more Knicks talk. We got 325 people still rocking with us this morning. Shout out Little D. Shout out Phil. Shout out everybody in the chat.
Can I shout out some chats real quick?
Shout
out to Jay Boogie, the closer in the building. Shout out to the family. Blessings, health, happiness on this beautiful day of life. Question is PS 288. It's still there. I went to that school. Salute. 3 capital S's. Jay Boogie. My fault. I had put this up. I meant to bring it up to ask Lil D, but Jay Boogie also said hard work, it beats talent when talent don't work hard. I don't care about nothing about a skill name. This team plays with a heart every game. You better be on your A+ game. I 100% agree with you, Jay Boogie. Shout out to you. My guy Eru says, I'm not gonna hold you. They need to bring back that Modell's on Flatbush and Atlantic Avenue. Absolutely, Eru, because that's where I used to go and get my Dickies when it first came out, right? Shout out to you, my guy. And also shout out to Julian Blum. Julian Blum put something in the chat. Hold on, wait. He said, salute to Morning Brew. Which one of y'all kicked me scenario? Because I know it had to be Hector sometimes when he has that name. He's talking about the screen name in the chat. So he messaged me. He's like, because I'm like, wait, who kicked Julian Blum out the chat? But he messaged me. He was like, no. I was talking about a Rush Hour reference. I was like, oh, okay. I was about to go, wow. Shout out to my guy Julian Blum in the building.
Eddie, we concerned?
Yes.
I know we got to keep talking about it, but now we're looking at another one without OG. Is the front office just playing it smart with these guys and just making sure? Right, because we all downplayed the with the big noise, right? When with the injury, we downplayed it, and then the next game he played and he looked good again, but we haven't seen him since. Should we be a little bit more concerned with the OG situation?
I'll let Eddie go.
If I was a gambling person, I would bet that he's going to be out for another month. That's just what my heart's telling me. I think again. Where the Knicks, as long as the Knicks aren't in danger of falling into the play-in, I think they'll take their chances. Because think about it. as long as you're not in the plane, you're pretty much going to face, from 3 to 6. It's all pretty much the same teams.
Right.
And they know OG Anunoby is a guy that can't play through pain. Is a guy, he just got a surgery. Let's keep it a buck here. This guy got a surgery. He was screaming on his way up, and that's not a good sign. And we know if he's right and if he's healthy, he's a game changer for us. He's an absolute game changer. So it's probably in their best interest to leave this guy out another month, and they just have to do their best over the next 4 weeks until the playoffs start. As long as they don't fall into that play-in, I think they'll be all right.
I got JJ. Eddie is always just positive. He just filled with just positive energy, positive relaxation. Eddie is the king of Zen.
Felix Zoria said, praying and hoping everything is good with OG.
Yeah.
Do the Knicks give OG a deal coming up with like health incentives and the deal? Like if you don't play this amount of games, you only get paid half or something like that? I'm so concerned right now, Felix, with just making sure we get OG back. I haven't even bothered to look at what's the contract stuff going to be and all that, right? I think everybody's contract conversation changes when we win an ECF, when we get there, when we win a championship, right? So get us to the dance. We've been saying it every week. Go ahead, Hector.
I was just gonna say real quick. I look at it different than Eddie, right? Realizing the MOI, the mechanism of injury, being that he had surgery and it was being healed. It was going through the healing process. It's not like he had the surgery and a week later he was out on the court and that scream happened. That's totally different. What you can say probably happened is he probably re-aggravated the stitching of it as he was going up and got hit on his elbow. So they haven't put out any reports that there's been any fluids buildup. There's been any setbacks when it comes to the recovery process of it. So it's just precautions. I don't think he'll be out for the next month. I don't see it like you, Eddie. I can see at most, I would say 2 weeks when it comes to OG Anunoby. He should be back after that first week in April. I'm just taking a guess just because of I'm not a doctor, anything like that. I worked in EMS. I was an EMT. That's all my medical knowledge. But it's just reading the reports and seeing the MOI, the mechanism of injury, I can say that he'll probably be back in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, but again, even if they save him for the next 4 weeks, it's probably better to be safe than sorry, right? That's where I'm coming from with this. Like I'm just thinking about it again. If they're the 6 or the 3 with OG and Randle healthy, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And again, I also think in worst possible case scenarios because I want to know. Okay, well, worst possible case scenario, OG comes back in the playoffs fully healthy.
I'll tell you what, this is the date that I had scheduled as well. And when I spoke to, I think it was you and I, Eddie, the other night, I was like, maybe it's Miami. Maybe it's April 2nd where we maybe get that first taste of even Mitch back, right? I don't see Julius yet April 2nd, but I can see OG and Mitch, and that would be huge. I had the same date circled, man. That Miami Heat game, I saw a lot of people throwing the OKC game and all that. But I mean, if you're talking a month from now, bro, that's what we're not looking to bring anybody back to the playoffs themselves. You got to figure they got to be back by that Bucks game.
And so it's a bit tricky just because of the procedure that happened. It was his elbow that was cleaning out whatever it was that was in his elbow, a bone spur or whatever. So the recovery, a lot of different bad scenarios can happen. He can have nerve damage, he can have blood tissue damage, he can have blood vessel damage. So we don't know what the setback was, and until the medical staff comes out and let us know what the setback is, we're just speculating right now. So like I said, I'm cautiously optimistic, and I could see Anunoby coming back 2 weeks, 3 weeks. But if it is an elbow stiffness or a nerve damage that happened when he was coming up, he could be out longer. I'm just trying to take a hypothetical guess with it.
Yeah, well, the thing is, like, even with Knicks Yak, huge difference with third place. You don't need him the next 3 games. That's where we all agree. We can find solace where the next 3 games are weaker teams. If there's any game you're asking, hey, who are you sitting? You're picking these next 3. Let them rest. Go ahead, Hector.
If it's sorry, I just want to raise my hand. I'm used to Twitter Spaces now, Eddie. I'm on Twitter Spaces now. I'm doing good on Twitter Spaces.
Man literally
I got my hands up and everything. literally, I meant to click.
The Spaces on and they don't raise their hands.
I see that Hector has his hand raised. Hector, go ahead.
I wanted to ask you guys, right? If the Knicks were if the Knicks were instead of in the 4th seed, if we were the 8th seed right now, right? Can you see the team trying to rush OG Anunoby back? Do you think if we were in the 8th seed they'll rush him back and he'll be playing this week. But the fact that we are the 4th seed, we're a half game out the 3rd seed, the team, they're not even letting us know what's the issue. So they're like, we're just resting him and we're just being cautious. What's your thoughts on that, Eddie?
Well, look at the last time we brought OG back. We were on that skid. We were on that losing streak, right? And they brought him back. So I'm with you. I think they're going to keep these guys out as long as they keep winning. But if a 4 or 5 game, well, let's not go that far. Maybe a 3-4 game losing streak happens, we might see OG back. We might see Mitch back. We might even see Randle back.
And like Nick Yak said, they said there was no damage. It's just soreness. And when the reports came out, they were just talking about how can he recover after playing. So to me, that just seems that it's just some soreness coming up, and having 2 games in the span of 3 days didn't allow him to rest it properly before going back out there. So they're just taking time and being precautious against teams. We got 3 games against teams under 500. I don't think anybody is worried about losing to the Raptors or to the Pistons or to the Spurs, right? So I like I said, like Eddie brought it up, we were on a losing streak when we brought back OG Anunoby. He came back, even though he wasn't 100%, his impact is still being felt because the defense, when we was on that losing streak, our defense was shaky. OG Anunoby came back, and even in those games that he was just there, not even 100%, the team stepped up their defense tremendously. Go ahead, Eddie P.
We also brought back iHeart after we went on a losing streak in February. Just throwing that out there too. So we've seen the pattern. You start losing, 3 out of 4, something like that, they're gonna rush guys back. So again,
what's helped us too, Eddie, is the teams that we need to lose, they're losing, right? And let's be real. A week ago, we had that chance too, remember? And we lost as well. We were like, oh my God, could you imagine that window and this last week of games? We would already be locking down that 3rd seed, right? So, again, these next 3 games, really comfortable to kind of lock it in.
Also, too, fellas, the Milwaukee schedule and the Cleveland schedule is like extremely hard, especially Cleveland. Cleveland is going to drop. So don't like, you guys are worried about Cleveland. No. Don't worry. They might end up in 6th. And Milwaukee, they played great last night. I actually watched that game versus OKC. They played a very tough game. They look great, actually. But they got a tough schedule too. They got a tough schedule coming up. So we might see those, the 2 and the 3 seed right now. We might see them drop. And you never know with us.
I mean, we talked about it last week, right? We weren't scared about the Cavs in any way, right? No. And then on top of it, Donovan with the fracture in the nose, right? We're like, hey, we can see them start really slipping if we do what we have to do, and we can maintain that lead. It's going to be great. Eru said at some point they need to get back. Maybe the Knicks have circled the game. They want the guys to come back. The team needs time to assimilate. Agree, right? The question we're all going to sit here every day and speculate until it happens is, what is that date? We should do an over-under. Hector's gotten really good at just want to bet on things. He's winning parlays.
Oh, well, yeah. I've been winning March Madness. I've been winning NBA. And you know what team yesterday helped me win my parlay, my last ticket that I had, and I pronounced their name properly? The Minnesota Timberwolves. Thank you to the Timberwolves. You guys covered on my parlay -2.5. I appreciate Anthony Edwards. Thank you so much.
That was a good game, by the way. I watched that game too.
No, it was. And honestly, right, even tuning into March Madness, I never was a big college basketball guy, but now I'm watching it or whatever. I'll tell you this right now. There's a reason the NBA has the best talent in the world, because there's sometimes you're watching college basketball and then there's 4, 6, or 8 possessions in a row. And you're like, what the fuck are these people doing? Can you score a basket? What are you doing out there?
Can I ask you guys a question? Back to a Knicks topic, but did you think Tibbs was smart?
We got to do putting the minutes? Empire States Media. We'll put the link to the open panel in a few. Sorry about that. So it's my fault.
No, you're good. We saw less of Precious the other night. What were your thoughts on that, Eddie? Was it just that he wasn't looking good that night? Because he wasn't. He hasn't
looked good in a while.
2-3 games now.
Yeah, it's been a while. Again, I think now that we're starting to ramp up the schedule, I think we're starting to see other teams kind of get his number a little bit, right? In the beginning when he first came here, he fit in, he was all good, but I think now we're starting to see Precious, good player, good role player, does his job, does what he's asked. but he's a backup power forward at the end of the day. That's what he is. And let's not get it twisted. He's not a star or anything like that, but he's a nice piece. But I don't think he's anything more. And I think we'll see that in the playoffs. And again, it's no shade at him. It's just what he is. It's what he's kind of always been.
Yeah. I just want to take a quick second to pause. We are sitting at 380 people watching us right now, collectively across all platforms. If you're watching us on YouTube, please smack that like button. Let's get the stream up to 100 likes. We're sitting on 60 likes right now. And when it comes to subscribers, we are at 3,964 subscribers, 36 away from 4K. So help us out, get to 4K. If you don't help us out, Eddie Presti is going to keep begging and asking questions because why, Eddie?
Because we are broke, pathetic, and poor network.
Yeah, nailed it.
You got to do better when I throw it over to you.
Yeah, you got to
broke, poor, pathetic, losing network. We're a losing
That's
network.
what I'm talking
no
about.
Money, nothing to keep the lights on. It's pathetic.
We call ourselves.
I know what's going on behind the scenes, fellas. Trust me. It's bad.
Go fuck yourself, Eddie. He said, I know what's going on behind the scenes.
I know what's going on behind the scenes. I'll just tell you that. I'm not going to say anything more.
He said
it's bad.
These fools are broke. That's just hurtful. I see we got callers backstage.
We gonna bring up the first one. You want to bring up JJ Celso to join us real quick?
JJ in the building first.
King JJ, what it do? JJ, there he is, my guy.
Man. I like the hat.
Talk to us, JJ. Talk to us.
What's going on, everybody? How we doing on this beautiful Monday morning or afternoon, I should say?
Good,
JJ. Love the Godfather background there, my guy. Way to go.
That's how we do. That's how we do things here. That's how we do things here. So, I've obviously put out the announcement that my show later today is going to be open panel for the first time ever, which I'm very excited to do. Jay just needs a little bit of time to get his stuff together, so we're going to be going live about maybe 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, something like that.
Nice.
Hope that's all right with you. But getting into
no. Listen, King JJ, let the people know in the chat where they can find you and where you do your work at, right? That's the one thing we do over here. We always promote those that support us. So let them know when you go live. Where's your Instagram? Where's your Twitter? Let them know.
You can find me on YouTube at Empire Sports Media, which is the new and improved best network in my best network in my opinion, because I'm a cocky son of a bitch. But yeah. It's where you can find me. I do Knicks content. I'm doing Mets and Yankees content because the Yankee fans have been in my DMs nonstop asking me for Yankee content. So I've decided, you know what? I don't want 1,000 people throwing knives at my head. So you know what? I'm gonna cater to their needs. I'm gonna cover them.
Are you a Mets fan, JJ?
Yeah, there is. Hang on. There's something I need to show you. I gotta move my camera real quick. I was
gonna say I talk to this kid all the time on the spaces. I knew he's a Met fan.
Huge Met fan.
Met fan doing Yankee content. All right, listen, I respect it.
Listen, it's sports at the end of the day. JJ, if you ever need me for a Yankee conversation, send the bat signal. I'll be there, my guy. All right. And make sure when you put the link out for your stuff today on Twitter, tag us so we can retweet it and we can repost it as well. All right.
Sounds good. But anyway,
back to give us your thoughts. Go ahead.
All right, so I'm going to be brutally honest with you. I had got, how many games has it been? It's been what, 72, 73, I'm guessing, somewhere around that? How many games?
Give or take.
Yeah, so taking a look at this.
70
games. I've watched at least 1 minute of every single Knicks game this year until Saturday. I'm 69 for 70 this year, which is a new record for me because the most Knicks games I had watched at one point was 65. So here we are already breaking records. So we love to see that.
What's your thoughts on the team, though?
Oh, I love it. The team is great. I can't be any more prouder of what I've seen this year. I mean, I've been waiting 10 long years to be happy as a Knicks fan again. Last year was a miracle for me. I was thrilled to see them make the playoffs. I was thrilled to see them win a playoff series. We're out here throwing a parade for one playoff series. Just imagine what it would be like if we won the championship. Sorry, I lost my voice for a second. But, yeah, like I was saying, I'm thrilled with what I've seen so far. Jalen Brunson should be an MVP candidate. The fact that he's not even considered is an absolute joke, in my opinion, because he is leading one of the most banged-up teams in the league, probably still the most banged-up team in the league. And I mentioned this last night on Eddie's Space. In terms of Julius Randle and Mitchell Robinson, you are not going to see Julius Randle till the playoffs. That is my honest opinion. I don't think you're going to see Julius Randle till the playoffs. And I think that in terms of Mitchell Robinson, you might see him next week. It all depends, with all fairness.
And what is your expectations, JJ? How far do you see this team going?
Eastern Conference Finals at the bare minimum.
Okay. All right.
What do you think, Eddie?
Hector, you're muted.
Oh yeah, my fault. Sorry about that, JJ. I want to ask you real quick. Matter of fact, I'll throw it over to Eddie because you just asked him a question, and then I'll go after Eddie. Go ahead, Ed.
You asked me how far I think this team could go. Well, I mean, it depends on health, of course. This is all we talk about. Oh, when these guys are coming back, blah blah blah. I'm so sick of talking about it at this point. Oh, listen, if they're healthy and they're all playing, we could win the fucking championship. Okay, there you go. If we got everybody healthy, we're 100%. We could win the fucking championship. At the very least, we could take it to the finals and probably get to a game 6 or 7. That is literally how good I think this team is if they're healthy. But if they're not healthy, it's a whole different story.
I think Nick Yak is not used to you being that positive or whatever. So just randomly, he just wanted to throw out there wrong just to disagree with you, right? So shout out to Nick Yak. Appreciate you being in the chat. But no, Eddie, I'm with you, and I know Celso's with you also because we've been saying this, and I know I've been screaming this from the mountaintop, JJ. If the New York Knicks, if we are healthy, I don't care if we're the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, or 8th seed. I'm not scared of the Boston Celtics. I'm not scared of the Milwaukee Bucks and Glenn. What's the coach over there? I forgot Doc Rivers, Glenn Rivers. I'm not scared of Glenn Rivers over there. All right. I'm not scared of the Bucks. I'm not scared of the Cavs. I'm not scared of the Miami Heat. So as long as we are healthy, as we are healthy,
Hold
what
up,
happened, JJ?
I gotta stop you there. I'm terrified of the Miami Heat. I want no part of them. Keep them away from me, please. I've been traumatized by them one too many times.
Yeah, JJ, honestly, when we're talking about the best teams in the NBA, you're talking about Denver Nuggets being number 1,
Right.
Boston's number 2, Milwaukee's number 3. I'll go Minnesota number 4, and I think we're at 5. Healthy, of course, healthy. That's literally how I see it.
Absolutely.
And the only reason why I brought up the Miami Heat is just because we
so
lost to them.
In the playoffs.
No, not just that. We lost to them in the postseason last year. So if we would have never lost to them last year in the postseason, I would have never brought them up because they're not even top 4 in the East, right? But you always got to respect Miami because of that culture they have. Pat Riley out there still in plays and stuff like that. And Eric Spoelstra is going to go down as one of the best coaches of this generation.
And Hector, they've been to the ECF every single year since 2020.
No, facts.
Every single year, they're there.
He would be the greatest coach of this generation if it wasn't for Greg Popovich or Steve Kerr.
No, he's still got a long way to go, JJ.
No, he's still got a long way to go. But you bring up Greg Popovich, right? I know we got the San Antonio Spurs later on in the week. I just want to say this real quick. I tried watching some Spurs games over the weekend, right? I tried catching just some. I cannot watch that team not give the ball to Wemby. That team has no point guard play. I feel bad for Victor Wembanyama. He cuts, he moves without the basketball so well, and they just don't want to get him the ball. I'm not sure if it's just the point guard play is just so bad, or do his teammates actually like him? I'm not sure what it is, but I feel bad for Victor Wembanyama. He needs a better situation. They need to do something better when it comes to their guard play this offseason.
Feel bad. They're gonna have cap space and have like a top 5 pick. I don't feel bad.
They need to do something with it because the guard play they have right now is trash.
They're the Spurs. They're going to.
With all due respect, I couldn't give 2 shits about the rest of the NBA if it's not the New York Knicks. With all due respect.
No, listen, I get it. Trust me, but I started betting on some FanDuel, so I got to start tuning it in. Go ahead, Self. So I'm gonna throw it over to you,
JJ, bro. We appreciate you coming up. Good luck with all the content stuff, bro. Guys in the chat, he did drop the link. Go support our boy King JJ. Open door, bro. We'll see you soon.
Have a good one, guys.
And whenever you need us, bro, just send us the bat signal and we'll pop up right now. Now we got somebody else backstage, so I'll let you introduce them.
All right. The fittest 65-year-old in the game, our boy Double A.
Oh, hey, look at that.
Look at him.
Hey,
give him the Randy Orton pose, bro.
Double A said, just so everybody know, my HGH regimen happened this morning. I took my Wheaties. I got the muscles ready to go. Go ahead, Double A.
He's like Hector.
Hector, salute, brother. I'm proud of you.
Oh,
Keep it
thank you,
up,
Pop.
babe. Keep
Thank
it
you,
up.
Unc.
You're looking good.
Thank you,
You're
Unc.
looking good. Eddie,
Thank
I'm
you.
not proud of you, bro.
What?
I gotta get you, bro. I gotta get you. First of all, I
Everybody
got some questions.
comes to me.
I got some questions for you, sir.
Go ahead.
All right. Are you a Magic fan?
No.
Okay, well, let me ask you this question. You keep saying, if they double team Brunson. If we double team Banchero, who's their
Phil said that,
superstar
by
going
the
to
way.
beat
That
us?
wasn't me.
No, I'm saying, if we double team Banchero, who's going to beat us? Who's their
Franz
superstar?
Wagner.
Why? Because he's white?
No, because
Really?
because he could score in the paint.
Man, he's a bitch. He ain't going to
Okay.
do shit.
All right,
This is the playoffs. This is the playoffs. We have no
I don't
fear.
think Double A had his turkey bacon this morning. He's on a different one this morning. You had your coffee,
He
Double
chose
A?
violence.
No. But what I'm saying, bro,
This is what
we're
happens
scared
for
of the
Double.
fucking Magic.
This
We're
is
scared
what
of the
happens.
fucking Magic.
This is
Really?
what happens when Phil leaves and Double A doesn't know how to act because Phil the apostle's not here. That's what's going on right now. Go ahead, Eddie.
And my other question, Eddie, what's our record against the over 500 teams with OG?
I have to go look it up.
Well, I'm gonna tell
It's
you, we
better.
worked
It's
ass.
better.
We blew out Boston. We beat the Bucks, and we're like 14-3
Yeah, we beat
with
15
OG.
and 2. 15
And
and
we're
2.
definitely getting OG back. We're definitely getting Mitch back. I'm not afraid of fucking Magic.
Well, I said that too, though. Double A.
No,
I
you
said
didn't.
if we have
No,
our
you
guys
didn't. No, you
healthy-
said I'm scared.
No. That
Check
wasn't
him,
Eddie.
Hector.
No.
Check him, Hector.
I gotta defend Eddie on this. He didn't said he was scared about the Magics, right? Somebody in the comment section put that in the chat, and Eddie was just saying if we're not healthy, we gotta be
If we have
realistic.
this team right now, we're
I'm
not
sorry.
beating the Magic in a 7-game series with this team because of their size and because they do what we do. They grab
You want to
rebounds.
bet that pink jacket? You
No,
wanna
what
bet
he's
that
saying,
pink
Double A,
jacket?
Double A, what he's saying is that without Julius, without Mitch, and without OG, he doesn't think we could beat them in a 7-game series.
But we're getting OG and Mitch back. And
No,
let me
yeah.
ask you this.
And he said, and he said, Double A, if they're back, we can beat them. He's
I
saying
just said
if
that
they
you won a
aren't back.
championship.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
if
just
they
said that you won
aren't
a
back.
championship.
But Julius hasn't given a shit in the playoffs the last 2 years. So, that's nothing. I mean, Hart has been playing his ass off. But my main concern, fellas, is this. There's no freaking way Deuce McBride had to play 48 minutes yesterday. And if he keeps this shit up, not only is Julius Randle going to be on the DL, Hart's going to be on the DL, McBride's going to be on it. You can't do this shit. I mean, Brooklyn coach pulled his starters with 2 minutes left. We were up by 15 points. And you can't pull this guy out? I mean, what a fucking maniac, bro.
Wait, but he did pull them out though.
No,
He's talking about McBride,
Right?
right?
Like 48 seconds.
Come on, Eddie. Come on.
Listen,
Really?
But Double A, don't you think you're starting to get into that like toxic side? Oh, Tibbs rides these guys. Go look at the minutes played.
No, this
Guys who played the most
motherfucker's
minutes
been a
are like-
maniac all the time. That's my feeling, okay? People want to re-sign him, but I'm saying you got to look at that point. He has a habit of driving his players into the freaking ground.
Everybody does. This
Rose.
is the NBA.
Look at
but
Joel Lang.
he's not the only
Hector.
one. Double A. Every hold on. I want to clarify this because this is the one thing that drives me crazy when it comes to Tom Thibodeau. He's not the only one in the NBA that does that. Look at Brandon Roy. The Portland Trailblazers literally ruined that man's career because he had a knee injury and they forced him to play. Look at Tracy McGrady. Tom Thibodeau is not the only coach that runs players in the ground. It is a league-wide epidemic that does it. It's not just Tom Thibodeau. It just gets
make it right. It doesn't make it right.
I never said that it did. But if you have that smoke for Tom Thibodeau, you got to have that smoke for the rest of the league because Tom Thibodeau is not the only
like
coach
JJ,
or organization that said that.
Knicks. Like JJ, I only care about the Knicks, bro.
Yeah, but you got to put things in
But
I know what you're saying, bro. But it still was no need for Deuce to play 48 minutes yesterday. And Hart has been playing, these crazy minutes. Dude, his knee is still screaming. I mean, we need these guys in the playoffs. We need McBride now. And I think Bogo, I think you guys agree with me. Bogdanovich done played his ass on the bench in the playoffs. Am I right? He ain't gonna see the time of day.
If we're healthy, we've been saying it. Go ahead, so
I'll say this because I don't disagree with you, Double A, when it comes to Tibbs and the minutes and all that, right? But I think, again, I've said it time and time again, I find it very hard for us to have to look at any of the normal narratives this season that we've dealt with last season, the season before, because these are situations that for the first time, Tibbs has no choice but to really play these guys. The fact is, we're talking about Deuce McBride's minutes, right? The fact that we're talking about Deuce, who should be like 6th, 7th, 8th guy on our roster right now, is getting too many minutes. Well, you know what? For me, if he's playing that many minutes, that means JB is actually getting a rest. And to me, that's the bigger priority, is Jalen Brunson getting a rest.
I agree with that, but he's not.
We can't, but what I'm saying is, if we get everybody back, you're going to see the minutes spread up a little bit differently. Right now, we have to rely on McBride. But here's the thing, Double A. We can get mad about it like we used to, or we can look at it this way. Holy shit. Deuce McBride is playing so good and stepping up, the dude is being Tibbicized with 48 minutes. I'd rather have that conversation than who's going to fill those minutes, right? So it's one of those seasons where we can find things to nitpick about, but at the same time, we can be super happy about everything. We're seeing 48 minutes from Deuce because we need to.
I just don't want to see
1 second. Double A. I get you. I get nobody wants to see it on the injured list. Off the top of your head, how many minutes did Isaiah Hartenstein play in the last game against the Nets? Off the top of your head.
I would say about 24.
He played 26 minutes. Is that driving him through the ground?
No.
All right. Jalen Brunson, how many minutes did he play against the Nets?
I have no idea.
Only 33 minutes. Dante played over 40 minutes. Josh Hart played over 40 minutes. And McBride played over 40 minutes. Every other player, no player played over 20 minutes in that game.
So that's kind of like proving my point, right?
How is that proving your point?
You're burning these guys, bro.
Burning these guys. Our season is gonna break in the March of in the month of March because we're playing Deuce McBride, Dante, and Josh Hart over 40 minutes. Our season's gonna collapse.
No,
this is not Julius Randle. This is not OG. This is not Mitchell Robinson. This is not Jalen Brunson. We have our bench players who rarely even crack more than 15 minutes a game, averaging wise when you look at the stretch upon per game. So I'm just trying to understand the argument or where is it coming from.
Here's my argument. Okay, the way Burks and Bogdanovich have been playing, we need to count on Josh Hart and Deuce now. Deuce done played itself into a bigger role where we need him. Especially the way that Burks and Bogdanovich is playing, we're going to need Hart and Deuce in the playoffs. I know they're not just as important as Hartenstein and Brunson, but they're still important to our game. We need these guys. And I'm saying, you're going to run them, man. The human body can take so much. Just like you said, OG. OG is not hurt. OG didn't have time to recover. When you have an injury, I've had 3 neck surgeries, 1 back surgery. And for a little while, especially the first few months recovering, you're going to have that inflammation. And the only thing that stops that inflammation is rest, ice, and it just building that body.
Thank God OG Anunoby ain't out there playing 40 minutes a game. Thank God that's not happening. We're talking about Deuce McBride, Dante, and Josh Hart.
That's what I'm saying. Like, in no way take this as we disagree. It's, again, guys, if we just look at the fact, the conversation we're having right now is Deuce McBride. We're giving him too much minutes, which tells me, hey, the fact that especially these last 3 games that he played that many minutes, we were able to discover what Deuce McBride is, right? So, again, it's a catch-22. It's a benefit that he's played so much, but then that fear has to creep in. He's proven that he's going to be a piece we need. Let's not run him to the ground. So, again, Double A, it's like you're not right or wrong.
And
thank you.
Double A, if you cut down Deuce's minutes, who's going to get his minutes? Your boy, Jalen Brunson. Alec Burks is going to get his minutes.
What about the guy that we signed?
Shake Milton? He's a 2. He's a 2.
But Double A, he's
terrible.
Thank you. There's a reason why he was available in the month of March. There's a reason why
he wasn't worth it.
Because we needed bodies, because we have injuries. There's a reason why players in the month of March that were on playoff teams in years past aren't picked up because they aren't good.
Yes.
So you wouldn't have went for a Terry Rozier over signing him.
No.
Wait, hold on. Wait.
Wait.
Was Terry Rozier a free agent signing in the month of March, or was that a trade at the trade deadline? Those are two different scenarios. Double A.
Was he a trade or was he a
Terry Rozier
buyout?
was a trade. It wasn't a buyout. It was a trade.
He was a trade for what's his name? Kid from the Toronto Raptors that went to Philadelphia.
You're talking about oh my God, from Kyle Lowry.
That's point guard, yeah, point guard.
Yeah, Kyle Lowry. Now, would I have rather Kyle Lowry over Shake Milton? Absolutely. But Kyle Lowry wanted to be in a position where he could get minutes, and there was no minutes guaranteed coming to the Knicks.
Go home.
And he
wanted guaranteed minutes, and there was no guaranteed minutes on the Knicks.
Correct.
Like there is in Philadelphia.
Correct.
Right. All I'm saying, fellas, is he has a habit of winning at all costs at the expense of our players, and that's no good. That's no good. That's why Hartenstein was. I know, but you don't have to do it, like they do it everywhere else. This is the New York Knicks. We can do it differently. We're a deep team. Once we get our players back, we're a deep team.
But that's my point.
Right now,
and I'm gonna end it right here, guys, because we have more people backstage coming up. But that's why I said Double A. I will sit here and play the in-between guy, because again, I don't think either side is wrong, because we have had these conversations when it comes to Tibbs and the way he uses guys way too much. But we also sat there during those times and said, well, he really didn't have other pieces that we were really confident in. Now that we know, hey, we can sit here and say we have 8-9 guys that we are confident in. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I don't see us in that situation for another 2 weeks when we start getting these healthy guys back. Double A, I love you. I'm a little upset you didn't bring out the Jalen Brunson in my pocket today. But
he's sleeping. He's sleeping.
He's resting up for the night. Double A, we love you, bro. We'll see you soon. Appreciate
love you. Love you, Double A.
Thanks,
before
bro.
we bring up the next caller, there were multiple comments in the chat when it came to being scared about the Miami Heat. Okay. And I didn't want to cut anybody off, Hector, but anybody that is saying that they are scared of the Miami Heat, this is for you.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
You're welcome. We're all dumber. I am not scared of the Heat. Nelson, let me get that camera. Give me a thumbs up. Let me know you're ready to come up. Nelson is in the building. What it do, Nelson?
Hey, what's up, fellas? How y'all doing? Y'all good?
I'm so used to you being in the playback. It's usually a darker room for the both of us. You know, and here you are daytime hours. You good?
It's daytime. Yeah, man. About to enter the gym. Figured I'd stop by, say what's up. You know.
How we feeling, bro? Talk
appreciate
to us.
you, Nelson.
Good, man. Good. So, I think in regards to the Knicks, I kind of wanted to say what I said in the comments again. Them playing 500 ball might have been the best thing for them because if you've seen, they've kind of been landlocked into the 4 seed since, what would you say, December, January, maybe?
Feels like it, yeah.
And then they had the one day they went up to the 3 seed, and then, they lost like 1 or 2. And then, the day they went to 5 because Orlando won a game. But if you realize every team, weirdly enough, the Knicks playing 500 ball and staying constant helped them the most, aside from January. Because, like, Cleveland's doing well, but it was like, we kind of were like, all right, we're going to wait for Cleveland to slip, while everybody was like, no, they're going to be a 3rd seed, and look at where they are now. Orlando, same thing. Orlando's a young team, and granted, I think they overachieved because I kind of had Orlando between like 6 and 8. But I think they're gonna get a hard lesson. Like, hey, you need to be like, y'all are good, but you're not battle tested yet.
Fair.
So at Orlando, I think that I don't think they're a bad team. Like, I'm not saying that at all. I think Jamal Mosley honestly could be a coach of the year candidate for what he did. Because it was about time, because they finally got to get the rebuild right. But I just think the Knicks are honestly the most battle-tested. Like, yeah, with certain concerns like Eddie, I understand 18 and 26, but that's when, our schedule was terrible. And everybody else started to face, Milwaukee and Boston 3 times a week and go play these teams all the time. And then we saw them lose to them as well. So I think in a weird way, like, I don't want to say I'm not concerned because, yeah, there are things that can be addressed. But despite how the season went, any other situation, a team losing 3 or 4 starters, Julius Randle shooting terribly, Dante not shooting well, guys kind of starting to come back into form, and then Deuce, jumped out of the stratosphere. We didn't think he was going to be this serviceable, and that's not to put an indictment on him. It's just Tibbs was playing him situational minutes. I think a lot of teams would have pulled the Dallas last year and said, yeah, we're just going to go get a draft pick and that's it. So I think that's a testament, aside from the Jalen Brunsons and, the obvious Julius Randle and that, aside from the injuries and everything, like, this team, I'm actually very proud of this team. That's why I'm always going to fight for them, because they could have easily just said, yeah, forget it. Like, we'll just go 30-52 and worry about next year. So I think them really playing 500 ball, despite it that being concerning to some people, that weirdly kept them in the 4 seed. Because think about it. If they go on an 8-game winning streak and then you pull a Cleveland when you're losing 3, 4, 5 games or losing games where you need to win them to stay in your seeding, then this could have easily slid to 6 or 7.
Right.
And they stayed at 4. They stayed at 4 the whole time. So
and Nelson, I agree with you. I remember when we started the Knicks Morning Brew back up for season 2, that was one of the teams we talked about. Like, people were not giving enough credit to what Orlando Magic could be. But we all said the same thing. It's not their year, but they're going to be a good team. And I think you said it best. They're not battle tested yet. This is that season where they're going to get that battle testing, right? I'm not worried about Orlando. I don't think, yes, will it be a fun matchup? I don't see how the Magic can walk away beating us in a 7-game series. I'm sorry. Like, at all.
Yeah.
The only teams I would genuinely be, like, concerned about are Boston and Milwaukee. Miami, I think Miami needs to, if the Knicks impose their will on Miami, because the Knicks are now a team that can do that in games. We see that happen to them against many teams. We saw literally Brooklyn. It was like, we're going to keep playing the game. Brooklyn's eventually going to, miss shots, or Brooklyn's just going to wither down to the Knicks' pressure, and then it happened. So I think considering how they've played without 3 or 4 starters, and they're beating starters. They're beating bench players. They're beating teams that they could go against. The only teams I'm really genuinely worried about are Boston and Milwaukee. And that's because with the way Boston is playing, they're their own worst enemy. We've seen it time and time again. That's why when everybody's talking about Boston, I'm like, I'm waiting for Jason Tatum to play to go in some Mr. Mamba mentality that he likes to do and shoot them out of games. I'm waiting for Jaylen Brown to go left and Jaylen Brown's getting paid $300 million. They can't dribble with his left hand. So you kind of have to, when it comes to Boston and Milwaukee, you kind of have to play them to where they make their own mistakes. Whereas with everybody else, I think the Knicks could easily impose their will and just play their game and, overpower them. Like, I'm not worried about Miami. I don't like the way they play. I think the Knicks should match their energy.
Shady.
They play a little shady. Sometimes with those type of teams, you got to match their energy. It's like playing against the bully. You match their energy, they get worried, they start playing out of this, off their square. And Eric Spoelstra is worried about that team. I know people are.
That's when the phone call comes in, right? And you get cut off.
That's when the phone call
Nelson
comes
was
in.
some fire, though.
Nelson was spitting. I just want to put it out there because I know we're going to wrap up real soon, right? Just for context, when it comes to the top 20 players in the NBA, minutes played per game, where do you think Jalen Brunson sits on that list, Eddie?
He's like probably 14th or 15th, something like that.
Where do you think he sits on that list? So top 20 players, minutes played per game. Where do you think Jalen Brunson
sits? He might not even be on it.
I'm about to say maybe, if anything, 18, 19, I'm going to go with.
You hit it right on the head. He's 18. He's 18 on the list. He's behind. He's behind LeBron. Narrative. But this thing, he's behind LeBron James, and he's right there with Dame and Giannis Antetokounmpo. And you don't hear people in the league saying that the coach over there in Milwaukee is running Giannis and Dame into the ground. Shout out to my guy Stappa Don in the building. Stappa Don, the top general in the Knicks community.
Let's take another caller real quick before we wrap up. But again, we got over 425 people rocking with us this morning. Appreciate everybody in the building. If you're over on X, take a quick second if you want. Do us a favor. Jump over to YouTube, hit it so we can hit our 4K subscribers. If you want, buy a coffee. Help us keep the lights on. Support with the super chat. Wait, Nelson's back. Let him finish his thing.
There you go, Nelson.
Right. Hey, sorry, fellas. I got a call. But I was just saying, I think I'm saying Boston and Milwaukee are the teams to be concerned about, and it's not even just hubris or like any false bravado. It's just how the Knicks have played every team from 3 down to fucking 13. How they've played against them and imposed their will. When compared to Boston and Milwaukee, The Knicks almost beat Milwaukee a couple of times. It's literally because Damian Lillard scored 6 points in a minute early on. And Boston, I mean, that was more of a coaching thing, and just Boston was making shots, especially the last game. If it's not for that third quarter, a lot of people looked at that score and thought, oh, they smoked the Knicks. But in reality, that game was pretty close until Boston just had an unconscious run. But that's what separates the good teams from the great teams. It's a game of run sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if the Knicks can really just not let Boston get on those runs, and with Milwaukee, they honestly, I know people talk about Giannis, but that team is going where Dame goes. When Dame shoots well, they win games. When Dame does not shoot well, they don't. The games are a lot closer than people think.
Yeah.
So I think it's really keeping Dame in check when it comes. Like, obviously, Giannis is Giannis. I'm not taking away from Giannis at all. But the weird thing with Milwaukee is them losing Drew Holiday. Yes, they got Pat Bev, but to me, Pat Bev is not Drew Holiday.
Facts.
I'm sorry. And I think with them keeping Dame in check and making sure Dame is not shooting well, that really opens it up for guys like Beasley and Portis and, you know, even Pat Bev himself and so on and so forth. So I think that's really the keys when it comes to Boston and Milwaukee. But I'm not really worried about the rest of the East. I think the Knicks can really make a run to the ECF depending on how things work out for them.
Facts.
And with help,
Nelson, bro, I appreciate you tapping. Yo, you in the playback tonight?
I should be, yeah. I usually, if I'm not on the stage, I'm in the chat. I usually keep it on while I'm doing, background stuff. So
awesome, Nelson. Appreciate you, my guy.
I appreciate you,
Thanks,
my guy.
Yeah, have a good one.
I know we got more callers backstage, so heck, I'm gonna let you wrap it up with the last two callers.
Yeah, no. Actually, we're gonna cut it right now. I'm gonna bring up Soulfinger. I know we got a couple more people back there, but I'm gonna bring up Soulfinger. So I'll let you get out of here so Soulfinger can wrap us up because I gotta be out of here too. I gotta dip off because I gotta head down to the city and I gotta help Phil set up. He's further than me. I will say this
for those of you in the chat. Catch me right after this. I'll be on today with Brandon London, SNY. Check us out. We're talking Knicks. That's why I got to bounce out of here. I'm going to go do a little bit of Knicks talk, and let me make sure you guys are set up pretty. I'm going to take my ugly face off. I'm going to move it.
All right. And then I'm going to bring up my guy, Soulfinger number 12. Soulfinger, my guy. Appreciate you, Unc. Sorry about trying to wrap things up, but we got to get out of here. But Soulfinger, I'm going to throw it over to you to close us out. Make it short, make it sweet, and, of course, make it soulful from the day go.
Closer.
Okay, well, it's only one closing. That's the almighty J Boogie. So I can never do that. So I'm being bad Andy. I'm on the clock, supposed to be working. So I'm gonna be bad Andy, pay a little hooky so I can get up in here and speak. He's brought him right on up, the closing himself. So I'm gonna make this real short and sweet. Hey, look. I've been hearing people talk about they're scared of this and they're scared of that. Man, if you got peanut butter in your drawers, go clean the drawers out, man. Don't be scared. All right? Check it out. There's no reason to be scared. Even when we healthy, they don't want to see us. We will give a hemorrhoid a headache. I don't know how many times I got to tell everybody that. You understand what I'm saying? We like the rock in your shoe. We like that bunion when you're wearing tight shoes that always hurt when you got those corns and everything. That's what we are. The league doesn't want to deal with us. You understand? We got I'm going to take it back old school wrestling. The Von Erichs, Fritz Von Erich with the iron claw. We're going to put them in the claw and put that grip on them, man. You got to understand. So don't be scared. Go out there, man, and say, open up your rayon shirt with the big elephant collar like they used to wear in the 70s. Let your taco meat hang or whatever you got, the couple little strands you got. Say it with pride. Don't be scared, man. Go handle that. Because I guarantee you, we're going to slap them up, slap them down. We're going to stump a mud hole in them and walk it dry. That's what I'm saying. And then all this talk about Tibbs, real quick, with Tibbs running teams in the ground, hey, I read an article on what Dante DiVincenzo said. He said he don't care what they're saying. He loves it right here. These cats are not complaining. There's other cats that are complaining. Hey, I used to be hard on Tibbs about, man, I don't see this and that. In Tibbs, I trust. That's where I'm at right now. The man has forgotten more basketball than I will ever know. All right? So we are winning. You've seen the progression as it has come. Some will like him. Some will never like him. But, hey, I'm telling you right now, we're in a better position than we have been in many, many moons. Last time we seen the Knicks have a winning season, Jesus was a baby. You understand what I'm saying? So with that being said, I'm going to get out of the way. Remember, once we get healthy, it's all going to come together like butt cheeks. I'm kicking it to the original one and only closer, my man, J Boogie.
Boogie, the closer in the building with the Versace shades on. Boogie, tell the people, speak to them.
Salute. 3 capital S's. Bless, health, happiness to everybody. I hope everybody had a marvelous weekend. I hope you spend great quality time with your family. That is majorly important. Do not miss opportunity to spend time with your loved ones, especially your moms, your pops, your brothers, your sisters. Spend quality time with your loved ones. And don't wait for a holiday to come around. You don't have to wait for a holiday to show your mom's love or your pop's love or your family love. You love them each and every day that you wake up, your eyelids is unattached. You got health and strength. Love your family. Do not go days by without loving somebody in your family. If you can, tell somebody else you love them that haven't been receiving the love in a long period of time. It's okay to give to somebody and not expect anything back. God has your blessing for you, and when you do things for other people. What up to my brother Soul Finger, aka the East Coast E40, the New York Nick E40. Shout out to my man E. What's going on, Eddie? I be seeing you everywhere, man, doing your thing, man, popping your collar. When you know what I'm saying, you the sports jacket legend, man. Only person that's in front of you know what I'm saying, is Clyde Ward Frazier. His birthday's coming up on the 29th, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to give you that title right there. And shout out to my brother Hector, man. I love you, man. That's my brother from another father. Ain't nothing else going to keep us away from one another. And shout out to the greatest people in the orange and blue family and everything, man. But, I got to give them some love, man. I'm going to give them some major love, man, because I just put inside, you know what I'm saying? I texted in there, hard work beat talent when talent don't work hard. And that's all this guy does is work hard. Every game he's prepared to come on that floor. Even if his numbers not being called, he's even more ready to get on that floor. He's ready and he's ready at hard work every day in practice. He's ready and hard working and watching films before he even get to the building at the crib. And when he's at the crib, he can't wait to get to the building so he can practice. That's why everything is happening for this guy. I'm gonna say his name. His name is Deuce. Deuce is on the loose right now. Deuce is coming up. And I'm gonna tell y'all, if Deuce put on in the playoffs, then his first major step in the playoffs, I'm gonna pass him with IQ. Reason why? Because IQ hasn't showed up in no playoffs since he's been here. He ain't even showed up for the play. So if Deuce comes along and shows up in the playoffs in 2 years, I'm gonna continue asking that question. How far is Deuce away from IQ? And IQ is in 4 years and Deuce is in 2 years. The guy's training, he's coming, he's a hard worker, he's a learner, he fights everything. You don't see nobody that fights with screens like that guy does, A lot of guys, when they see them high screens, they get lost and forget that this guy's a shooter and they go under the screen sometimes. This guy fights over the hardest screens each and every time, and he delivers blows to let you know the next time you set a screen on me, it's going to be that much softer. I appreciate everything what Deuce is doing, man. Deuce is on the loose. Deuce needs to be on that floor each and every. Deuce can play 48 minutes. He's a young pup, you know what I'm saying? He's still developing. He's still learning. He's still getting it. And the more reps he get on that floor, the better and better he's going to be. Because sooner or later, when you see the same thing happening 2 and 3 times, you're going to be like, I remember this the first time I did this and that was wrong. So let me do this time. And then the next time on the third trip, you're not even going to think about the first and second because you already know what to do. But the defensive player or the offensive player that ain't going to know that you know what to do, man. So shout out to Deuce, man. But I tell you, man, y'all need to believe in the Knicks, man. Everybody being scared and all uptight, don't want to play this team, that team. I keep telling y'all these teams don't want to play us. We jockeying for position, but teams is jockeying to make sure they're not in position for us to play them, man. I'm telling you, they scared of this squad right now. And I don't care what you throw at Jalen Brunson. But may he rest in heaven, Mr. Prodigy. I don't see it all, and I don't did it all. Yeah, that's what he don't seen it all, and y'all can't throw nothing else. He learned his techniques against the Toronto Raptors. Back 2 years ago, when Toronto was sitting OG and was sitting on Barnes at him and was sitting on Piasca at him and tripling, double teaming and everything, they still couldn't stop him. So if he could deal with the Toronto Raptors, I'm not scared of the Orlando Magic. I'm not scared of. You see what they're doing with Miami? He crushes Miami. You hear what Mike Brown said about this guy? I throw the book at this guy. You hear what Draymond Green said about this guy? When other people are saying what they're saying about this guy right here, we need to stop feeling like the opposite way of what they saying, and they scared to death of this machine, man. That's why I call him machine. You see him right now. He's the only person that's watching one TV, watching every game, and he got a jacket on, man. Shout out to Jalen Brunson, man. Man, God bless him, man. Yo, tune in, man. All y'all doubters and haters, tune in. I'm starting to think
Facts.
some people are not Knicks fans when they doing all this doubting and don't believe and don't have faith.
Let them
All this
know.
team. Come on, man. Come on, man. Stop that, man. They don't say Washington said it all. To get through the mud, you got to get through the rain. I put the Stormers out. The storm is out everywhere right now. It's in rotation, man. The storm is for all the hard times we got through and they said we couldn't get through. Everything they throw at us that we get through it, man. But I always say it's not about what we get through, but what we go through, man. We get to the other side, man. We on the other side, man. Wait till the playoffs get here, man. Doubters, man, get out the way, man. Don't even put on nothing orange and blue. Don't come to the game. Don't come to the building. Don't be nowhere in a way bringing that, rubbing off that bad energy. I need good vibes, man. You hear what Jen said? The vibe. And I'm going to leave it like that. The vibe.
The vibes are nice. Jay Boogie, the closer. Appreciate you, Ung. Soul Finger, my brother from the Dago. Appreciate you, my guy, like always. I'm going to let you guys put you guys down. Those are the OGs of the Knicks community. Two fellas that I've been talking Knicks ever since, you know, Uncle Ron, man. But Eddie Presti, appreciate you joining us this morning. Last words for the folks in the chat before we get out of here, you handsome son of a bitch, you.
Let's go, Knicks. Let's get this win tonight against these bum-ass Pistons.
There you go. And like Eddie said, against these bum-ass Pistons, like always, make sure you drink your water, stay hydrated, talk to your friends, say something nice about your neighbor. And until next time, deuces.